Good evening and welcome to the January 12th, 2015 meeting of the Florissant City Council. Will you please rise and join the council in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? Scout Pack 186 out of Atonement Lutheran, please come up and lead us in the pledge. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Hankey is absent. Pagano? Here. Schmidt? Here. Hernandez? Lee? Here. Jones? Here. Egan?
Here.
Caputa? Here. Shildroth?
Here. Before we begin, I'd like to let Mr. Shildroth have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Florissant lost a good guy on January 7th when Ed Klink, 91 years old, passed away at his home in winter home in Florida. Ed's a former councilman early in the city, back in the early 60s. He was active in the Knights of Columbus. He was a terrific horseshoe player, and he will be missed. And I would respectfully like to ask for a moment of silence for Mr. Edward Klink.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Before we begin, if there's anyone that wants to make comment at the hearing from citizens section of the meeting, I would ask that you pick up a yellow speaker's card located on the table next to the entrance of the chamber. If you'll complete that card out and give it to Mr. Hessel, he will forward it to us. Approval of the minutes. Mr. Schmidt makes a motion to approve the meeting minutes of December 8th, 2014, seconded by Mr. Lee. All in favor? Opposed? The minutes are approved. Hearing from citizens. If there are any citizens in the audience that would like to make a statement, now is the time to do it. If you have not filled out a speaker's card, I would ask that you do so. Seeing none, we will move on. Communications. Clerk, are there any communications? There are none. And we have no public hearings tonight. Old business, second readings, 9056. Mr. Schmidt makes a motion to postpone this reading, seconded by Mr. Jones. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We will postpone that bill to the next. We'll postpone that bill to the next meeting, which will be January 26, 2015. New business. Board appointments. Mr. Shildroth.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to reappoint Terry Ryder, 450 St. Christina Lane, to the Citizens Participation Committee.
Moved by Mr. Caputa, seconded by Mr. Lee. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I have another one. I also like to reappoint Mr. Richard Weller, 1040 South Lafayette, to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Motion made by Ms. Pagano, seconded by Mr. Caputa. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Lee.
Thank you. I'd like to reappoint Mr. Skip Beers to the Board of Adjustment Commission.
Motion's made by Mr. Schmidt and seconded by Mr. Hernandez. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
That's all.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, Resolution 975.
Resolution urging Governor Nixon to reconsider and reverse his decision to not renew the Florissant License Office contract with the Florissant Rotary.
Motion made by Mr. Lee, seconded by myself. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Resolution urging Governor Nixon to reconsider and reverse his decision not to renew the Florissant License Office contract with the Florissant Rotary.
Motion made by Ms. Pagano, seconded by Mr. Schmidt. All in favor? Aye. All right. For a third reading, I need a motion for a third reading. That'll be made by Mr. Shildroff and seconded by Mr. Caputa. Is there any discussion on this? Roll call vote, please.
Pagano? Schmidt?
Yes.
Hernandez?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Jones? Egan?
Yes.
Caputa? Shildroff.
Yes.
Record show that the motion has been passed. Resolution has been passed. I'm sorry, go ahead and read it for a third
All right,
time.
we got to get back into this.
Yes.
Resolution urging Governor Nixon to reconsider and reverse his decision not to renew the Florissant License Office contract with the Florissant Rotary.
Prior to the final vote being taken on this resolution, is there anyone in the audience that would like to make comment? Seeing none, clerk, please poll the council.
Pagano? Schmidt? Hernandez? Lee?
Yes.
Jones? Egan?
Yes.
Caputa? Shildroff.
Yes.
Your Honor.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the council for adding their voice to the voice of many Rotarians, my voice, the voice of Senator Gina Walsh and the County Executive Stenger and many others to urge the Governor and Department of Revenue to reconsider the decision to remove the Florissant Rotary from operating the Florissant License Office. I appealed to the Governor's office since last summer. Most recently, on October 27th, I missed this council meeting so that I could be with the governor. I was invited to his residence, along with mayors and executives from other municipalities and counties. He wanted to thank us for helping to sustain his veto, which would have, there were some bills that would have been onerous to municipalities and counties. And I took that opportunity to personally deliver an appeal to retain the Florissant Rotary in charge of our license office here in Florissant and let his office know. And I also told him in person that I had given him a list of things that was important to the city of Florissant to his aid. And the reasons for wanting him to let the Rotary continue is because all the proceeds go back into our community to those that are less fortunate, including the Emergency Assistance Ministry team to feed the hungry, Marygrove Home for neglected and abused children, and Valley Industry Shelter Workshop for the people with disability. And it gives them meaningful employment. They also gave money to the Joplin Tornado Relief and the Ferguson Tornado Relief, scholarship money and so forth. It's about $2.3 million has been given back to the community by Rotary. And just put a quick plug in for Rotary. The Rotary membership is aging, and they could use people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and even 50s to consider joining Rotary. It's a very fulfilling organization and a very philanthropic organization that does good around the world. Thank you, Mr. President.
Let the record reflect that Resolution 975 passed. Next item under new business, request from Ward Number 3, request to transfer an existing non-conforming special use permit from Sullivan Tire and Auto to DAK Enterprise LLC, Kleinthurmis, business located at 8123 North Lindbergh. I will make that motion, seconded by Mr. Shildroff. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Request passed. Bills for first reading. Bill 9060.
Ordinance to rezone for New Halls Ferry Real Estate LLC, the property located at 15275 and 15267 New Halls Ferry Road, from a B4 single-family district to a B5 planned commercial district to allow for a sit-down carry-out restaurant.
Mr. Caputa makes a motion for a second reading, seconded by Mr. Lee. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance to rezone for New Halls Ferry Real Estate LLC, the property located at 15275 and 15267 New Halls Ferry Road from a single, B4 single-family district to a B5 planned commercial district to allow for a sit-down carry-out restaurant.
Mr. Caputa makes a motion for a third reading, seconded by Ms. Pagano. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Pagano?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Hernandez?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Egan?
Yes?
Caputa?
Yes.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Please read a bill.
Ordinance to rezone for New Halls Ferry Real Estate LLC, the property located at 15275 and 15267 New Halls Ferry Road from a B4 family district, single-family district, to a B5 planned commercial district to allow for a sit-down carry-out restaurant.
Prior to a final vote being taken on this bill, is there anyone in the audience that would like to make comment? Seeing none, clerk, please poll the council.
Pagano? Schmidt?
Yes.
Hernandez? Lee?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Egan?
Yes?
Caputa?
Yes.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Bill 9060 passes and becomes ordinance 8105, 8105. Bill number 9061.
Ordinance amending ordinance numbers 7928 and 8014, which establish the compensation plan for the seasonal employees of the city of Florissant, which contains an effective date clause.
Mr. Shildroth makes a motion for a second reading. That motion is seconded by Mr. Jones. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Please read the bill.
Ordinance amending ordinance numbers 7928 and 8014, which establish the compensation plan for the seasonal employees of the city of Florissant, which contains an effective date clause.
Mr. Shildroth makes a motion for a third reading, seconded by Mr. Schmidt. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Pagano? Schmidt?
Yes.
Hernandez? Lee?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Egan?
Yes?
Caputa?
Yes.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Please read the bill.
Ordinance amending ordinance number 7928 and 8014, which establish a compensation plan for the seasonal employees of the city of Florissant, which contains an effective date clause.
Prior to the final vote being taken on this bill, is there anyone in the audience that would like to make comment? Seeing none, clerk, please poll the council.
Pagano?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Hernandez? Lee?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Egan?
Yes?
Caputa?
Yes.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Bill 9061 passes and becomes ordinance 8106, 8106. Bill 9062.
Ordinance authorizing a transfer of an existing non-conforming special use from Sullivan Tire and Auto to DAK Enterprises LLC, DBA Western Tire and Auto, for the operation of a tire and auto business located at 8123 North Lindbergh.
I will make a motion for a second reading, seconded by Mr. Hernandez. In discussion, I just want to say that I met with the new owner of the establishment, and he has promised to come in and kind of bring a shot of new life to a business that's been there for a while, that needs a little sprucing up, and it's been a good business in the neighborhood, but I know that he is going to give it a great effort, and we're very much behind him. He's going to be a good addition to Ward number 3. All in favor of a second reading? Aye. Opposed? Please read the bill.
Ordinance authorizing a transfer of an existing non-conforming special use from Sullivan Tire and Auto to DAK Enterprises LLC, DBA Western Tire and Auto, for the operation of a tire and auto business located at 8123 North Lindbergh.
I will make a motion for a third reading, and that is seconded by Ms. Pagano. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Pagano? Yes. Schmidt?
Yes.
Hernandez? Lee?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Egan?
Yes?
Caputa?
Yes.
Shildroth.
Yes.
Ordinance authorizing existing non-conforming special use from Sullivan Tire and Auto to DAK Enterprises LLC, DBA Western Tire and Auto, for the operation of a tire and auto business located at 8123 North Lindbergh.
Prior to a final vote being taken on this bill, is there anyone in the audience that would like to make comment? Seeing none, clerk, please poll the council.
Pagano?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Hernandez?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Egan?
Yes?
Caputa?
Yes.
Shildroth?
Yes.
Ordinance 9062 passes and becomes, Bill 9062 passes and becomes ordinance 8107, 8107. Bill 9063.
Ordinance amending Table 18A of the Florissant City Code by adding eastbound St. Denis at Jefferson on Jefferson in front of Sacred Heart Church on Saturday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., on Sunday from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Bill 9064, 9064.
Ordinance amending the general fund budget to reflect $37,000 from asset forfeiture funds in escrow to forfeiture revenue account 014345111 and forfeiture expenditure account 015496100 for police training and the purchase of various equipment for the police department.
Bill number 9065.
Ordinance amending Chapter 100-090, Schedule of Court Costs.
Mr. Lee moves for a second, seconded by myself. Any discussion?
I just think, subject to the memo, I'd like to go ahead and clear this and ask for 3 readings tonight and bring it in line with what the judge feels was the appropriate fee, so.
All in favor of a second reading? Aye. Opposed? Please read the bill a second time.
Ordinance amending Chapter 100-090, Schedule of Court Costs.
Mr. Lee makes a motion for a third reading, seconded by Mr. Shildroff. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Pagano? Schmidt? Hernandez? Lee? Jones?
Yes.
Egan?
Yes?
Caputa? Shildroth?
Yes.
Ordinance amending Chapter 100-090, Schedule of Court Costs.
Before a final vote is taken on this bill, is there anyone in the audience that would like to make comment? Seeing none, clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Pagano?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
Hernandez? Lee?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Egan?
Yes?
Caputa?
Yes.
Shildroth?
And becomes ordinance 8108, 8108. Next item on the agenda, council announcements. Mr. Jones.
Well, I'd like to announce that Club Fitness is opened at North Limburg and Lindsay Lane. It has been packed since day one it is opened. I went up there and met with the managers, did a walk through the place. It looks like it's at full tilt. More than enough people there every time I've went. So I think that's a good thing for Ward 2. Also, anybody that's at home watching, if you guys could please take the time and grab your extra canned goods and run them down to team. We're going to need that more than ever because some of the stuff that's happened here in the past, it's down on St. Catherine, and we really do need you guys to take time and grab those extra canned goods. Another thing I'd like to reach out to everybody and say, please take your dogs and cats. Watch out for them. It's cold out. Some people forget about them. Let them out and forget to let them back in, and that could cause a problem. Thanks.
We are rapidly approaching the annual St. Ferdinand Charity Barbecue and Basketball Tournament. Each year we pick out a very special recipient for this event. It's a month-long tournament that happens every weekend, and we do a barbecue that coincides with it. This year we've chosen Erin Grace. Erin Grace is a Florissant resident. She's 4 years old and she has Down syndrome. Last year she was diagnosed with cancer, and it's one of those cancers that's a real big long word and I can't pronounce it. But it's devastating to the Grace family. They are great North County residents, members of St. Ferdinand Parish, so we are going to do our very best to make a lot of money for them. If you'd like to help out by being a sponsor, call me. If you want to help out, call me. If you want to get your team from your school into the tournament, please call us. Our goal is to do as best we can for this family, a very, very special family. And I'll be challenging the council to join me in sponsorship of this event. Thank you. Your Honor.
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. I recently expressed opposition to another rate increase proposal that Ameren UE is considering. I did discuss this with one of their executives, Stephanie Robinson. She's a supervisor for municipal accounts and business and community relations. Ameren says that one of the reasons that they want an increase is higher fuel costs, but I know for a fact that natural gas prices have been lower and lower over the last several years. So, and a lot of power plants rely on natural gas to run the generators. So I'm not buying the fact that their fuel costs are higher. Also, they've asked for 5 rate increases in the last 8 years. And our economy in the nation is still struggling. It's getting a little bit better, but it's still got a long way to go. And wages haven't kept pace with food cost, and I just don't think it's justified. I did thank Ameren for being proactive, especially in Florissant, in trimming the trees and making it less likely for us to have power outages. They've done significant investment into the Florissant plant, and I appreciate that. I also appreciate the fact that Ameren at this time has an opportunity, and I suggested that they take this opportunity to try to do what the highway departments do and gather information from the public so that they can have a dialogue with the public at the Egan Center or the JFK Center and other public places, the junior college. The highway department's been doing that for the last several years, and it's been well received by the public. And I also suggested that they take this opportunity to participate in a role model capacity in the discussion, in the social discussions that are going on in the greater St. Louis area, because Ameren has long embraced diversity by placing numerous minorities in top leadership positions in their company. This is very evident. One of their president, in fact, is an African American, and we encourage them to get involved in this discussion, and also to talk to the public to help them identify their goals and objectives for the long-term plan of excellent service to our region. Also, we have one more person to hire in Public Works to fill out the 6 new positions for Public Works to increase our ability to deliver code enforcement services. We had asked the council to consider this last summer, and we considered it during budget proceedings this year. We added 6 positions of Public Works. This should put us in a very strong position to catch up with a little bit of a backlog in code enforcement and then be proactive going forward, not only in residential but also in commercial real estate. Next to police enforcement, code enforcement is our number 2 priority. Speaking of police, I'd like to congratulate Florissant Police Chief Timothy Lowry. He was chosen for leadership posts in 2 prestigious law enforcement associations. This information is available on our website. But he is a leader as following in the tradition of his father and his brothers, and his leadership is appreciated by the law enforcement community, and him being chosen for these leadership positions gives prestige to our department, helps us with recruiting and a number of other things where this prestige pays good dividends. And keeping with the Florissant Police Department, I got to tell you, I was very moved at a recent DARE graduation up at the Wedgwood School up there across from Cross Keys Middle School. The principal of that school led me to a room that the police department had filled with gift packages for several needy families in that school that were not really going to be able to afford to have Christmas. These were tailor-made packages for the ages involved. I was very moved by that. And the Florissant Police Department once again steps up for those less fortunate. And I'm proud of each and every one of them. Speaking of schools, I spent the morning with third graders at Lawson School last month. We talked about citizenship, and they gave me a ton of questions. Some of them were tough questions, too. We had a real good time with the third graders at Lawson School. And congratulations to all the winners from the Christmas decoration contest. We had Dave Wilson on Estes, and Ron Porter on Loki's, and Tim Wobling on Meadowland, and that was first, second, and third. And I know that's a labor of love, but it really makes the city look bright at Christmas time. And on New Year's Eve, we had our famous countdown that was once mentioned on a Jay Leno show, that we count down to the new year at noon here in Florissant for the seniors. We have a great time every year at the Egan Center. I want to thank all the council members that helped out with the bartending, and that was appreciated by all. Lastly, on Sunday, February 22nd, at the John F. Kennedy Center, there's going to be Cocoa with the Ice Queen, and it's going to be a Parks and Recreation Department activity. It's for children. Kids of all ages will enjoy this. Residents $10, non-residents $15, so put that on your calendar. It's a new event that we're going to try this year on February 22nd at the John F. Kennedy Center. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to thank everyone for bearing with me. We have a new sound system, and tonight is the inaugural usage of it, so I'm up here fumbling them all thumbs. Hopefully, as we get better at working the soundboard, it will make our recordings and our live broadcasts a lot more pleasurable. The next meeting of the Florissant City Council will happen January 26, 2015 at 7:30 p.m. Mr. Jones moves for adjournment, seconded by Mr. Schildroff. All in favor? Aye. The council will stand adjourned.